Well. So, there's a lot of stupid to talk about this week.
Oh, goodness.
So much stupid that we weren't even able to get it done last week. Like, the funny thing about this is that the topics are still relevant because the stupidity has only gotten, like, worse than it was before. I don't know how people do that. I'll never understand it. But
how can
some people,
more stupid?
It's the only thing I could think of is either cocaine or bad girlfriend. Those two things tend to make people much dumber, to say the least. So today on the grind, we'll be talking about Colin Kaepernick being a dumb. We'll be talking about Mr. Beast being a dumb. We're going to talk about content creators being a dumb, and I'm going to review Deadpool vs. Wolverine because that was actually fun.
Yeah.
So, with that said, let's go ahead and get started. Welcome, ladies and gents, once again to On the Grind. Alright. So, I'm going to say this, and I'm going to, I think it's going to be very apt in regards to, I think a lot of people are going to probably agree with me on this. Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman just gifted Kevin Feige the biggest gift he could have honestly asked for. So, my pick of the week, I actually got taken to go see Deadpool and Wolverine. And I'm probably surprising no one. It's been out for a couple of weeks now. It's a good movie. And not only is it a good movie, it is the best... It's the best MCU film that has probably been released since Endgame. And well, actually, no, that's not true. I would put the Spider-Man movies, Far From Home and No Way Home, above this. But it's definitely the best one since No Way Home. And the funny thing about it for me is that it is, like, in a lot of ways, it is member berries the movie. But they managed to make it work.
That's the least worst thing you can do, I suppose, these days.
Yeah. Well, I'm of the opinion that nostalgia is a powerful thing, you know? And sometimes the best way to get people in the door is just give them the exact things that they're looking for. You know, it doesn't necessarily need to be complex. It doesn't necessarily need to be overcomplicated. It doesn't need to be overthought. You know, it, like, one industry that I've mentioned before as, like, having the simplest business model, but it works, is strip clubs. Strip clubs offer naked women, and that's it. You like that? It's easy to understand. You know when you walk in the door what you're getting, and it sells. You know, you don't have to overcomplicate it. In this particular case, people have wanted to see a Deadpool and Wolverine movie since the first Deadpool film, and that was what, 2016, I think.
Something like that, yeah.
So, we're finally getting it, and I have to say it was honestly everything that you could probably ask for in a movie between these two characters, if not a little bit more. So we get Ryan Reynolds returning, of course, as Wade Wilson. We get Hugh Jackman returning as Logan, and the interesting thing about it to me was that it reminded me in tone more of the first Deadpool film than the second one in regards to its tone. Because have you guys all seen the first two Deadpool movies?
I have.
Yeah.
Is it just me, or was Deadpool 2 a little weak?
Yes, I think so. My feeling on that, it was okay. It was still entertaining. Don't get me wrong. But my feeling was it was like too much. It should have focused on Deadpool and Cable more. Doing something with that dynamic instead of hey, let's put every reference we can from what we can use as far as Fox X-Men go, and so yeah, it was okay. It could have been better.
So what they did with this film, Sean Levy is the director on this one, and good pick because he's worked with Ryan Reynolds and with Hugh Jackman before, so they both already know the guy because he did Real Steel with Hugh Jackman back in 2011, and then he did Free Guy with Ryan Reynolds just a few years ago. So, and then a lot of people know from him, he's the guy behind Night at the Museum. So, with this particular film, the setup of it is that because Wolverine in Deadpool's universe has died, that version of Wolverine, he was considered what's called an anchor being in the MCU lore. Basically, if this being dies, somebody has to replace him, or the universe falls in on itself. At least that's what I remember explained from Loki. I didn't watch Loki. I just watched somebody else explain it, so that's third-hand information, admittedly. But
that's one. I hate that plot device, but they just have the entire universe be kept apart by one single person. Doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, it's really weird because there is a similar concept in the in the whatchamacallit, in the comics, but it's more of a cosmic thing of it's held together by the one above all and stuff like that, which the one above all is Stan Lee. So
it's like they were trying to take something more apt to be like DC. You know how DC says there must be a Superman?
Yeah.
It's like they try to take that and abstract it out to different beings for different universes, but you know what I mean? Whatever.
Yeah. I'm of the opinion it was honestly in the Loki series a lost thing. Though obviously they couldn't do a thing where Stan Lee at the end of it is the anchor being. I would have just been interested if they had just played back the clips and just said that's who the one above all is, and you just see all of Stan Lee's cameo appearances. That would have been a nice little nod. But that's just me.
And he explains why he's in different places at different times doing different things. Yeah,
exactly. And even in different places of the multiverse. Because he also appeared in Venom. He appeared in Deadpool, I think. I might be wrong on that one. But he's appeared in other stuff too.
This is in the first Deadpool. He was at the strip club.
Oh, that's right. Yes, he was the DJ. But regardless, the setup to this is that Deadpool has to go find a new Wolverine. So, or at least that's the conclusion he comes to. So he goes around different parts of the multiverse to find a Wolverine. I'm gonna tell everybody right now, this is 2 weeks old. Most everything has been spoiled, but there will be some spoilers in this, just as a heads up. So close your ears for a minute. The Wolverines he comes across Age of Apocalypse Wolverine. He comes across the Wolverine from, I don't remember which Uncanny X-Men issue it is, but it's the one where Logan's crucified on the front of it.
It's the start of the Extinction Agenda, I believe.
Yeah, there you go. There's also a comics accurate Wolverine where he's a fucking midget.
That is hilarious. So an actual 5'3" Hugh Jackman.
Yeah, it was funny. Because I think they actually made him shorter than that because he couldn't see over the bar, and I'm like, that's not 5'3".
He was even shorter than the bar stool, wasn't he?
Yeah, because it's that's 4 feet. He was the size of Puck from fucking Alpha Flight.
But a good nod.
Yeah, the funny thing about it to me, I was just you can tell that they're fucking with comics fans there, just as a little joke. Yeah. Because it's
it shouldn't be accurate. Hugh Jackman's 6'3". That's not I was yeah, but you don't really people told him for years you don't want a 5'3" Wolverine, and this is why you don't want a 5'3" Wolverine.
Yeah, because I was thinking about it because my dad is 5'6", right? Yeah, and I'm a few inches taller than Hugh Jackman, I think. So it's I could buy it's not easy to make a guy that short seem tough, and I think 5'6" is honestly the shortest you could make him, because I think Tom Cruise is about that height, right?
Something like that.
And it's a struggle to make Tom Cruise seem tough.
Yeah, it is. So it's just one of those things where like that was hilarious. Another one was the actual Old Man Logan, not the one from the Logan film, but Old Man Logan from the comics.
Oh no.
And he doesn't even just hesitate. He just shoots Deadpool with a gun because he probably knows who he is. I'm trying to think of what other ones there were.
There was the
and then the Cavalrine.
Oh yeah,
the Cavalrine needs to be mentioned because yes, Henry Cavill. They had him as Wolverine. They threw some shade at the DCU treating him poorly, which Sean Levy. I don't think he's ever going to watch this, but I'm going to say this anyway. Thank you for that. Because look, Zack Snyder sucks. None of us in here like him, right? Like,
no.
not at least not his DCU films. I did like Dawn of the Dead, but
and I kind of like Watchmen.
Watchmen has its moments too. There's just some points that are a little much, but but nobody likes the DCEU stuff like that he did. So like it goes with and just the fact that they were willing to drop him so easily when he nailed Clark so well. And it's like I'm really hoping that the new guy is good too, but at the same time it's like Henry was doing a good job with bad material. You know?
Yeah.
It's not Henry Cavill's fault that Zack Snyder thought, "Why you say that name? Why you say that name?" was good cinema. Yeah. It's like come the fuck on. So
don't forget don't forget I was going to say don't forget, but I don't know if you saw this, but apparently Henry Cavill, just to film that, thing, he actually smoked real cigars, and he actually made himself sick doing it. Like
that's Henry Cavill for you. Yeah.
Because Henry Cavill, he's all about the accuracy, right? Like,
yeah.
Even, what did we hear from The Witcher? It was all about like, no, don't do this. That's not how it works.
Yeah, that's why they hated him on that show.
Yeah, he wanted accuracy. And guess what? Doing it his way made it a good show.
Exactly.
After he was left, nobody wants to watch that shit anymore.
Exactly. and I am honestly hoping that this is the start of Cavill being part of the MCU. Hugh Jackman still says he wants to play Wolverine, so I don't think that they're going to switch casting. I am really hoping for Henry Cavill as Cyclops.
That could work.
I really think he would be a great Cyclops. And there's a Gambit in this that we'll talk about in a minute that I think should also be translated over. But anyway,
don't forget the Wolverine Hulk.
Yes, and John Byrne Wolverine showed up in the tan and yellow suit, and it looked awesome. So there is a possibility if we get more of this, we might get both suits. So
yeah. I like the whole "I marvel, Jesus, you dull creature," and I want to poop.
Oh yeah, that reference to Loki getting his ass kicked in Avengers was fucking great.
Yeah.
It was just like they were really nailing this. Like Sean Levy really just had his finger on the pulse of what people really wanted, and we got it. And yeah, the tan and yellow. Okay, quick poll from all you guys: tan and yellow or blue and yellow? Which one's your favorite Wolverine costume?
Blue and yellow.
Blue and yellow.
I
grew up with tan and yellow, so
because I grew up with both, but God, when I started reading, it was blue and yellow, so I had to go blue and yellow. So, I like.
I'm in the minority. I prefer the tan and yellow Logan because that was Jim Lee did a lot of that. So did John Byrne. Though Jim Lee also did the blue and yellow as well, but I don't know, something about the tan and yellow I feel feels a little bit more animalistic. Another really good one that I feel is underrated for Logan is his X-Force, the black and silver.
Yeah, that was good. I like that. I kind of liked. I'm gonna really reference. I like this patch look, which, by the way,
was it
also
that was great too. And just the great thing about it is like the one thing I love is they took so much care to make sure that it looked good on film, and it looked it was still close enough to the comic books that it was very recognizable.
And except for the the short Wolverine, it was not treated. They were not treated as jokes. They were treated like, but this is respectful.
Logan in this movie is a bad motherfucker. Like, they make him out to be a fucking beast. Probably more than he even was in the X-Men films.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
well, they probably remember that he's able to regenerate from it, basically being fucked from anything. Ugh.
basically, I mean, his fights with Deadpool. Deadpool is the only being in Marvel that I think has a better healing factor than him. Maybe the Hulk. Like, yeah, I would say the Hulk's is better than Wolverine's too, but not by a lot.
Right.
And the big thing about Logan is that he's perma-nerfed because of his adamantium.
Right, because he's fighting adamantium all the time.
So the overall plot, though, is that they get sent to a place called... Logan and Wade get sent to a place called the Abyss by Mr. Paradox and the Time Variance Authority. And the ruler of the... It's kind of like a Mad Max sort of place where all the old stuff goes to die. It's kind of a metaphor for all the things that are being cast away as the MCU takes priority, right?
Yeah.
And one of the characters there is, and this is another spoiler, is Johnny Storm from the Eon Grufford, so on and so forth, Fantastic Four film. And he gets killed, but it was a nice little cameo. But the main villain is Cassandra Nova, a version of Cassandra Nova that was sent there as well. And you also see a lot of other villains from other stuff. You see the Russian from The Punisher. You see the Juggernaut, the version from X3. Azazel from X-Men First Class is there. Who else? Toad is there. Sabretooth, the version of Sabretooth from the original X-Men films. Sadly, not the one from Wolverine.
Not Lee
Origins.
Schreiber. Yeah. Not Lee Schreiber. It was Tyler Mane. Yeah.
Yeah.
But,
which, nothing against Tyler Mane. He is a big, intimidating son of a bitch. But Lev Schreiber is a better actor.
Yeah, he did a better play at, like, hell. I mean, the best way to put it is Lee Schreiber was a good. If you had to take like a something from, the origin of Wolverine, that was a better version that he played. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
instead of being like, which, like you said, Tyler Mane is he's a great mongrel Sabretooth. You know what I mean? I'm just going to go and kill things because I can.
Lev Schreiber was a little bit more comics accurate because Sabretooth is not an idiot.
No.
Sabretooth is a sadist, and
he likes and have fun with it.
Yeah, exactly. And it sucks so much that his performance was wasted on such a bad movie, but he was such a physically imposing Sabretooth because he's a huge guy. Like his I still remember. I don't remember the fucking Hobbit dude. What character he played in that movie? But when Sabretooth goes to kill him, like just the slow, agonizing time he takes just to set up the fact that he's gonna kill him is just amazing. But yeah. So I have a feeling. I have a feeling they're saving that version of Sabretooth for another time.
Yeah.
But anyway, so they go to the Void. Cassandra Nova is our big bad in this. And the basic whole thing is that the intention is that Wade wants Wolverine to effectively come and be a new anchor being, and then they have to try to get past Cassandra Nova to actually get back to Wade's world. So and then of course hijinks ensue. And the big fan service moment, because you get one thing I will say is that what surprised me about this movie is it was one of those where while I was sitting in the movie theater, I never really felt like my time was being wasted. Because even like we had our comedic stuff, but there was also really good character moments between Wade and Logan that was not just trying to be comedy, and it played Deadpool like how I think the best Deadpool writers have played Deadpool. You're never going to hear this from me again, but one thing I have to admit is, Fabian Dezea obviously always gave Wade good character. But another one who did, and this is probably going to make me dry heave in my mouth, another one who also did that was Gail Simone.
Yeah.
That's the problem with giving the devil his due, or her due in this particular case. But I'm always of the opinion that Wade is at his best when he is humorous and he is making jokes, but you can tell that it's a defense mechanism for an inner problem that he has.
Priest he always had a good, Deadpool. A little underrated, it gets underrated because it was the same time as his Black Panther run. But Christopher Priest did a really good Deadpool. Yeah,
because Christopher Priest has a great sense of humor, like on top of being able to write serious characters really well. So, regardless, like some of the better character or one of the best character moments in it is when Logan, they're sitting in a car and Logan just unloads on Wade for deceiving him in some ways and generally being a fuck up. And he effectively gives like one of those speeches that if Wade was a YouTuber, he'd have deleted his channel. Like right. it's that brutal, but it's also very true. And just Logan just has him scouted, and Wade doesn't have a response. There's no jokes. I just love what Logan goes is like, what? Nothing to say, mouth? Because for those who don't know, Deadpool's nickname is the Mark with a Mouth. And you can tell behind the mask that Wade is probably crying. And he just goes, I'm going to fight you now. And then they proceed to kick the shit out of each other again. And it was one of the better character moments because you kind of understand in that moment that Wade is throwing whatever he can at the wall to try to save people he truly cares about. And he knows he's a fuck up, and he knows that he screwed all these things up, and he knows that things are not going the way they need to be going, but god damn it, he's trying something. And, you know, and it's just a really, really good character moments between the two of them. That it's sort of like, wow, I actually felt like I was getting Wade and Logan like they're written when they're written well in the comic books. And I think that's part of the reason as to why people still really love this movie outside of the fan service. But speaking of fan service, they go to a place where there is a resistance against Cassandra Nova, and it's other characters that were put into the void, basically characters that were thrown away because Marvel didn't have any use for them. One of them is Elektra, in this played by Jennifer Garner. Then still fucking Blade.
And Blade,
yeah. Like, nothing against Jennifer Garner, I just didn't like her Elektra very much. But she does still look good, I do agree with that.
Yeah.
Like, she has not aged very much in the last 20 years.
I remember a joke I heard one time. It was for the Daredevil movie. It was like doing it was like a God. What was it? Xavier, you would know this. The guys who did the original Mystery Science Theater, and then they did the other thing with movies.
Riff Track.
Yeah, and they did a riff tracks of Daredevil, and it was that part in the movie where they first meet, Daredevil and Elektra, and she goes, "I'm Electric Nachos," and he said, "Your name is Electric Nachos."
But yeah, Wesley
like
Snipes. Yeah, but yeah, Wesley Snipes is back as Blade. The theater I was in was only about 20 people in it because it was late. Everybody cheered. Everybody went nuts. Because let's be honest. And I think Ryan Reynolds, when he said this on Twitter, was 100% correct. There is no MCU without Blade.
Oh, no.
Nobody was interested in comic book movies until Blade got made.
Yeah.
And it still, in my opinion, is better. Like, Blade 1 and Blade 2 are still way better movies than a lot of the stuff that we've seen in the MCU.
Yeah, definitely.
Especially, like, I would even argue, like, some of the cinematography... Like, some of the cinematography in Blade 2 is better than a lot of the stuff that we've seen in the MCU. But then again, people forget Blade 2 was directed by Guillermo del Toro. Oscar-winning Guillermo del Toro, you know?
Yeah, I think the only... If I've ever seen any complaint about Blade 2 was the, the fight at the beginning where it was like more CG than, whatever, but
yeah,
it was early. So you can't really blame it too much. You know what I mean? Like, it was early days of that kind of shit.
Yeah.
And now people have forgotten the lessons of Blade and Blade 2, and then now they're, as to quote the greatest philosopher known to mankind, some motherfuckers are always trying to ice skate uphill.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he drops
Great
the line in the movie too.
Nice.
Because the third person that shows up is Gambit. And a comic accurate looking Gambit played by Channing Tatum. And I laughed when I saw it. Then he started talking. And I was like, wait, what? That's not that's Channing Tatum?
Yeah.
I didn't know he had it in him. His accent is perfect. Like, his mannerisms are straight out of Remy. Like, I was like, the only thing that I wish that they had done is given him eye contacts to look like Remy's eyes. But everything else, everything else was perfect. I was like, holy shit.
I know that...
Because he even calls himself... Sorry, I have to get this in. He even calls himself Le Diable Blanc, which is his nickname from his time as a thief, the White Devil. And I was like, they actually had him call himself Le Diable Blanc. Like, thank you. Thank you.
I know
for
that.
This.
I think Daphne Keane, who spoilers plays X-23, she's back, which is cool too. But one of the things she said, and like afterwards, she said like Channing Tatum doing that voice, she could not stop laughing.
you just don't expect it from him.
Exactly. She said, like, she had to actually at one point tell him to quit because they were trying to do a scene and he was, like, speaking his lines. And then he started ad-libbing lines, and she's like, you need to stop.
Yeah. You could tell he's been wanting to play that character for a long time. And the passion came through.
He probably went and spent time with the X-Men cartoon voice actor to get the character down.
He might have
surprised me. But the great thing about it is him and Wolverine fucking with each other like the animated series. I just love that. It's a common courtesy when you come in here to ask before you start drinking up all of my liquor. And Logan's just like, it's a good thing I don't give a fuck. And then in French he calls him a drunken idiot and throws a card straight through the Jim Beam bottle. And Logan's like, shit! Which... Personally, as a bourbon and whiskey lover, I think he did him a favor. I think Jim Beam is overrated. Because the next thing that Logan does is he picks up a Jack Daniels bottle. And I'm a Jack drinker. So I'm like, upgrade. But, folks, for those of you listening, if you're going to drink bourbon, my recommendation, Knob Creek whiskey. That's pure Kentucky. It's stronger than Jim Beam, but it's a lot smoother. So... but anyway, so they had all of that. One thing that they made mention of is that there were others that were with them. One of them was the Punisher. Apparently, originally, Thomas Jane was supposed to be in this. But he's been having health problems.
Damn it.
So that was sad. But they said that he went and fought Cassandra alone. And I'm like... Because later on what you see is that they bring out a rocket launcher that was apparently Frank's. It's the rocket launcher from Warzone. So they were paying tribute to Ray Stevenson. Because I'm like, that version of Frank, that's how he would have gone out. With a shit ton of weapons, and he just walks in there and starts shooting people.
I mean...
Was there any tribute to Dolph?
Could have been.
I think everybody tries
Dolph
to...
was the Punisher.
Everybody tries to forget that Dolph was the Punisher, though.
That was...
Dolph was a great Punisher. He never had to reload his guns once. No matter how much he fired. It was great.
And, of course, the fact that he would pray to God in the sewers while naked for some reason.
Yeah, that was a really weird movie.
Yeah.
I don't think that was supposed to be in the movie. I think Dolph was just doing that because that's something that Dolph would do.
Yeah.
Like, look, I just want to show off my ass, okay? Like, why? It's a great ass. Fair enough.
The only character I've ever wanted Dolph Lundgren to play in a Marvel film was Colossus.
Oh, that would have been cool. In his peak. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, I was always surprised that they didn't approach him for the X-Men movies to play the character, but they want to go with a younger Colossus, so whatever. Though it would have been great for him to be in the Deadpool movies as Colossus, but again, whatever.
Yeah. And that older Colossus.
One thing I will say, right now,
they could have him. They could have him as Omega Red.
No,
that would be interesting. I could get behind. that.
Yeah, I guess actually they could. Yeah.
Anyway, I could definitely dig him as Omega Red as well. But anyway, or Emil Blonsky, but we've already gotten Emil Blonsky, so that's not going to work. Yeah. But still, anyway,
and the guy playing Blonsky isn't terrible either. So.
Oh no, what's his name? Tim. Fuck, what's his last name? I forget. I'll just say that Hulk movie is a lot better than people give it credit for.
I mean, I liked it.
I did too. Edward Norton was perfect as Bruce Banner.
Yeah,
but
that's one of those situations where they should have worked shit out, and I can understand where Edward Norton was coming from when he basically had to rewrite most of the movie and got no credit for it. You know, I'm like, yeah, I'd be pissed too. You know, but they should have worked that shit out, gave him a credit, gave him some money, and bring him back because he was infinitely better as Bruce Banner than Mark Ruffalo. You know, I'm sorry.
Maybe we'll get a thing because it seems like Joe Rogan successfully talked Robert Downey Jr. coming back. Maybe we'll get Ed Norton back too, because he did the same thing with Edward Norton. He's like, your Hulk is perfect.
Oh man, what if we get him back as the Maestro? That would be awesome.
Maestro's already cast though. He's apparently going to be the villain in the upcoming Captain America movie, which is weird, but we already talked about that.
Yeah.
But anyway, so as the movie goes on, they fight Cassandra Nova, they win. The big fan servicey moment was they somehow managed to give me goosebumps with a Madonna song, where they play the opening to Like a Prayer, and then Logan reaches behind his neck and pulls over the cowl, and it's like, oh fuck, like they finally did it. So, but at the end, you know, our heroes prevail. It's a great movie. It just goes to show you that having fan service is not a bad thing. And like, if you want to make money, that's the way to do it. The movie has already made over $1 billion. I mean, I made a joke in my Discord server. I said that Marvel Jesus has beaten actual Jesus at the box office.
Okay, listen, I'm going to point this out, but America really loves movies about men that cannot die.
This is true.
They fucking... Jesus couldn't die. Wolverine and Deadpool cannot die. Who else cannot die?
Yeah.
Superman cannot die.
I would like to point out that Hugh Jackman finally putting on the costume. He no longer has to be in fantastic shape for that to work. He just has to have good arms. Because... you could texture the costume, and the costume does a lot of the work.
Because... Well, you know, it's funny. It's funny you mentioned that, but there is a scene.
Yeah, there's a whole scene where they're basically worshiping his fucking abs. It's hilarious.
That was hilarious. Yeah. I love that because it's like that happens, and then Deadpool just kind of looks back and he goes, kind of like, nice.
Yeah. Because the funny thing about it is it's not like Ryan Reynolds isn't in ridiculously good shape too, but he's kind of scarred all over as Deadpool, so it wouldn't really work the same.
Yeah, he has to wear all that makeup. Sell it, yeah.
But
plus,
but no,
Ryan Reynolds, is a kind of a scrawny frame by default.
Yeah, which works for Wade because Wade is not that buff. But overall, great film. I honestly very much believe that this might have saved the MCU. I honestly believe that because it gave them a win that they were very desperate to get. Because until I watched the Spider-Man movies, the only other MCU film I had watched out of morbid curiosity was Eternals.
I'm sorry.
I was so disgusted at that film. It was so bad. And I'm like, if this is the direction that you want to go in the future, you're going to keep losing money. And that's what happened.
Yep.
And at the end of the day, it's like if you want to have if you want to make money and bring these characters around and have great stuff, all you really have to do is just do what the people want to see. You know, I think at this point, you know, the next thing for them to do, obviously after they do Secret Wars, they're probably going to do an X-Men film. And it's like, well, you got your Wolverine, you know, like, you've got your Gambit.
Yeah.
You want to bring in X-23? Do it. I just ask that you keep her as X-23 because I really don't like the idea of X-23 as Wolverine because I feel like as a character she has established herself as her own thing.
Yes, I
she
agree.
Doesn't need to be her dad. You know?
No. And that goes back to, you know, where I've always, you know, people will talk about, oh, legacy characters. I was like, yeah, that works for DC, not so much Marvel. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, because Marvel can't set them up for shit.
Right, exactly. So it's better to, you know, the character is the character, you know, and then if you want somebody who has similar power sets, just call them something else. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, exactly. Like, because the one thing that I've told people is because people bring up like the Green Lantern, and it's like they set up Hal losing his powers and becoming something different.
Yes.
And it is one of the darkest stories in all of comics that you're going to read. You know, just
they set up a fall, you know, for that Green Lantern. You know, like you know, and even before that, you know, like they touched on a little bit with John Stewart. You know, they set up that you know, and plus with Green Lantern it's easy because it's a core. You know, there's thousands of Green Lanterns. You know what I mean? So
exactly.
You know, having a replacement is not a big deal. Having multiples is not a big deal. You know.
Well, when your backup is Kyle Rayner, it could be a bit of a big deal.
Okay, fair point. Oh man. But anyway. So needless to say, folks, if you're wondering if I recommend this film, abso-fucking-lutely. If you're looking for a really good time, a really good popcorn movie with a surprising amount of heart. Also, what was the name of the actress who plays X-23 again? I forgot.
Daphne Keane.
Great. Yeah. She's not in it a lot. The moments she has in it with Logan are awesome.
I would say she's more X-23 now than she was in Logan.
Oh yeah,
I would agree. And I want to see her again as X-23. I would love for it. And they did confirm that that Blade and Elektra and Gambit are still out there somewhere.
Nice.
So,
I think they said that everyone's universe is back.
Yep, and something like that. And
Gambit is,
well, it's gonna all get merged at some point. I have a feeling that that's what Secret War is gonna be.
Yeah,
and we're gonna take and pick the things that we liked.
Basically. So I don't think I don't think they're gonna keep Jennifer Garner's Elektra.
But no, they'll get somebody younger. Yeah,
but given that the Blade movie that they were trying to put together with Mahershala Ali has been canceled, what Blade said in the movie, like what said in the movie, might be true, as there is only one Blade.
Yeah, and honestly, it seems like that was set up that way. You know, like it doesn't seem like that was just a passing line. That seems like you know, it's literally. Remember, I told you like a few weeks ago, and this was before the movie came out. Where, name guy, plays Blade.
Wesley Snipes.
Thank you. Wesley Snipes, you know, said, you know, after, you know, there were reports coming out that like they fired yet another writer, and another director. That, you know, he says like it just seems like they keep trying to, you know, do something over and over again that was perfected 20 years ago. You know, like. And I was like, I wonder if that's a hint. And then he shows up in Deadpool and Wolverine. I'm like, you know, maybe, you know, so it could be.
Could be.
It'd be nice. You know,
I would. It's a movie so good they canceled the third attempt to reboot.
Right. I'd be down for Old Man Blade. You know what I mean? Like,
let's fucking go. I'm down. My only request is get Guillermo del Toro back to direct it.
Oh yes, definitely.
So
and please do not put his daughter in the fucking movie.
Yeah, don't do that.
I mean, because like she's basically just Black Buffy. Let's just be honest. That's basically what his daughter is.
Mhm.
Yeah, let's not do that. All right, let's go ahead and move on to our topics of the week. So first and foremost,
I'm giving, just letting you know, I'm giving the finger to the screen right now.
I hope everyone is, because fuck this guy.
He was like relevant in the NFL even before the whole kneeling thing. So go ahead.
Yeah. So I have a rant for this, and it was so... I had to write it down because I was so pissed off at what had happened. So Colin Kaepernick has created a company that they want to create AI comic books to remove barriers to entry for comics. Given that we have a panel full of people that have published comic books independently, what the fuck are you talking about?
Love it.
So let me read through this. I've concluded that all of the celebrities that are out there in the world, the dumbest of them all might be Colin Kaepernick. This Q-tip looking goofball is a prime example of Mark Twain's old quote that says it's better to keep your mouth closed and let people think you're a fool than to open it and remove all doubt. He's the human personification of someone with a low IQ reading some quotes from Karl Marx on Brainy Quote, and now he thinks he's some sort of deep thinker. This is a guy who compared being an NFL player, where the average salary is over $2 million a year, to slavery! And then wanted back in the NFL after he said it! What the fuck?
Well, in his defense, they gave him a bunch of money and then expected him to do work.
Oh, Jesus. Anyway, this was after he had basically been phased out of the league because of his hollow political stunts. And let's be honest, for someone who wants to be an activist so bad, it seems like you only did it when people weren't paying as much attention to you because you hit your ceiling as a football player at a relatively young age. This guy is so dumb that he thought that the Betsy Ross flag was a symbol of slavery. When it's a symbol of resistance against the British Empire, you fucking stooge! This is a guy diagnosed with foot and mouth syndrome, and it seems like he doesn't realize that the cures for his illness are to reject communism, stop being a vegan, and ditch the double-digit IQ Berkeley grad he calls a girlfriend who knows about as much about world history as she does about fixing a fucking storm drain. These people are grifters. And now people are doing backflips for this goof to try to gunt guard his stupid venture that he's just starting. So after insulting everybody who likes football, apparently this idiot wants to insult every hard-working artist and writer on the planet by starting a company that uses AI tools to make comic books. Look, we've been debating, all of us on this panel have even been part of this discussion in one form or another about what is killing comics, and we've been talking about it for close to a decade now. And we will all agree that AI could actually do it. Everyone agrees that AI has zero place within comic books. Zero. It's lazy and it spits in the face of every single creative person who has actually taken their ideas and worked hard to gain the skills necessary to actually put them on a fucking page. In an article on Forbes written by Ian Shepard, who comes across about as bright as a dead light bulb, he tries to argue that AI tools will open new business avenues for storytellers who have traditionally faced high barriers to entry in the publishing world. I'm sorry, but to both Colin and Ian, who the fuck are you actually talking about? Do you honestly think that the main barrier to entry for creatives is the art? No, you fucking fools, it's not that hard to get an artist if you have enough money. The barrier to entry is not the making of the book itself. It's about finding an audience, which is fucking hard. And what you're wanting to do is basically going to guarantee that it's not going to get found. The description of the program they're talking about using, Lumi, is a fucking disaster. The platform uses AI tools that can flesh out characters conceptually and visually, draft and edit dialogue, and even build images for the work. Effectively, what you're doing is you're having an entire comic created by ChatGPT. This isn't art, you fucking simpletons. This is random image generation. Art is defined as the expression or application of human creative skill, human, emphasis mine, creative skill and imagination, typically in visual forms, such as paintings, sculptures, and things of that nature, or producing works to be appreciated primarily for their beauty or emotional power. Art, by its very concept, is reliant on the human experience and human expression. Art requires human beings to work on it and add their heart and soul into every element of it, and what you're trying to do is remove the human element! What the actual fuck? And what gets me is that there are people cheering this on. Well, from one Q-tip looking motherfucker to another Q-tip looking motherfucker, let's have a look at Quebblecop. I imagine you guys remember that idiot, right?
Barely.
So, here's the thing about Quebblecop. Okay, so some people don't know him, but here's the thing. Quebblecop was a guy who did videos that was like, gaming videos for kids, basically.
Oh, weird.
There's a bunch of videos on him and how his career flopped. So you could dive into that, but the basic idea behind the goof is that he wanted to remove the human element out of content creation and create a bunch of AI content and just enjoy the cash that he would rake in. There's just one problem. Nobody watches content creators for a fucking robot. This is why I absolutely hate it when these AI bros would bend over and present themselves for a pegging from Skynet if they were given the chance. People don't read comics for ChatGPT generated BS. AI doesn't know what makes a good character. AI doesn't know what a plot hole is and how to plug it. You could use AI to help with copy editing maybe, but that's something we've had for years. It's called spell check, and you're decades beyond that being revolutionary. The fact of the matter is that AI will never have the human element. It's never going to have passion. It's never going to be able to express anything even remotely human. This is the mistake that Quebblecop made years ago, and now Kaepernick's stupid face is making now. People read comics and manga because they're interested in the stories that the creators are telling with their own hands. This is why they read them. They want the story. They want the expression. They want the emotions. AI-generated art can't create that. Anywhere you go when you look at AI-generated art, it's soulless crap that's created from other samplings. It's not original. It's not new. It's a creative theft. It is an imitation of life. Only people who are uncreative and absolutely devoid of any sense would think that AI could be used to substitute writers, artists, editors, colorists, and so forth. But look at who we're fucking talking about. And then again, that would explain why Colin Kaepernick thinks it's a good idea, because he's stupid. What's your next idea, dummy? Are you going to make an energy drink out of Nembutal? How about a kite made out of concrete? Oh, I got another idea for you. How about a set of steak knives made out of lead or uranium? Maybe eye drops with sulfuric acid in them. I could think of more ideas that completely miss the fucking point if you like. You can use them. They're free. One final thing. You're creating a tool that would fuck minorities out of jobs. Don't try and act like you give a shit about social justice, you fucking muttonhead. You're a goddamn grifter looking for an easy paycheck, and I hope this is the one that gets you laughed out of polite society, you Q-tip looking asshole.
Damn, bro.
You feel better now?
I need to go use the restroom. I'm sweating after that rant. I will be back in a minute. Go ahead and discuss.
Okay.
Fuck!
See, getting cornholed by Skynet? Man, I heard that, and the first thing I was like, come with me if you want to live. No, I don't.
But no, I can definitely finish up some thoughts about Colin Kaepernick, or as we call him in the football world, as a few of you know, that I am a huge football fan. Go Panthers! But years before even he took his first, kneel down, we were calling him Kaepernick because he was a fucking dick, right? Like he was an asshole. He always was an asshole. He thought he was better than he actually was. He was a fourth-round pick for a reason. He was never going to be that good. He got thrust into a starting position because the guy who was starting got injured, and the head coach, who was brilliant, by the way, a brilliant man, worked the scheme around him so it would work, so they could keep winning. Once he was figured out, they didn't win anymore, and that's why he got benched. That's why he was put down on the depth chart, and he couldn't stand that. That's when he started that kneeling shit, right? People say, oh, he was kneeling because he was, protesting something he believed in. He don't believe in shit. Colin Kaepernick doesn't believe in a damn thing. Yeah, it's attention. It absolutely is. And Micah was right on the money. He's got a girlfriend who has I would say this, a sub double-digit IQ, right? Here's the deal. At one point, after he got cut from the San Francisco 49ers, where he was making plenty of money, but he was too stupid, just like, hey, maybe if I just chill and hang out, maybe I get another opportunity, right? No, had to bring attention to myself, right? Got to, try. And at the time, I believe Harbaugh was the coach. I might be wrong, but Harbaugh's one of those coaches. I'm not dealing with that shit. Right? It's like, nope, bye. Get rid of him. And then he had an opportunity with the Baltimore Ravens. Now, at the time, Baltimore was kind of transition. It might have been at a point where they were getting ready to transition from their starter to maybe a new quarterback because the starter was getting a little bit older. He may not have had it as he had it before. That kind of thing. He's still good, but maybe, we got to start looking to the future, maybe in a couple of years. So he had an opportunity. They brought him in, apparently had a good meeting. And I want to say this also. Ray Lewis, who is a legend of the Baltimore Ravens, an absolute legend, called in every favor he could to get him that interview with Baltimore, right? Mm-hmm. So they were having a good conversation, apparently. Things were seeming to be working out. They were getting ready to offer him a contract. And his fucking dumbass shit for a brains girlfriend said that the Baltimore Ravens is like old school slavery. And guess what deal died right that moment?
Baltimore Ravens.
Multi-million-dollar deal. And he keeps trying to say, I want to get back in the league. Nobody wants you, dude. You last played in 16, 17. That is 7-8 years. No, you're done. Yeah. You're not coming back. I can still like the game has passed you by, brother. I'm sorry. You're done. But and that does not get into
nobody knows.
Oh no!
You've had to ruin your life like your girlfriend.
Oh, that yeah,
Hello?
That's true. Yeah, we heard you. Yeah, nobody can ruin your life like your girlfriend, right? Like, but yeah, no, he's an absolute moron. God, this is feeling cathartic. I love this. And the fact that people were trying to say that he was better than a Heisman Trophy winning number one pick MVP quarterback at one point disgusts me. He was better than Cam Newton. Cam Newton played circles around this dude. Absolutely ran circles around him. And it made me sick that people tried to compare the two because there was no fucking comparison. And all I got to say, people say, Micah was correct. You don't think he's that stupid? You don't think, he's got a brain in his head? Listen to him talk. It's a bunch of gobbledygook. Nothing he says actually makes any fucking sense. And here's the big thing that people might not want to bring up, but I'll bring it up. He was raised by white people.
Mm-hmm.
You know why? Because his mother couldn't take care of him. And why is that?
He disparage his adopted parents as well?
Pretty much. Yeah. He basically said it's it was white guilt that, they raised him. I was like, so it's white guilt that they paid for your education. It's white guilt that they let you become, let you do what you wanted to do as a young man. No, it's not white guilt. It's your dumbass fucking girlfriend. I got to say this, and Serena, excuse me for being crude for a moment. That pussy better be good. Because that's the only thing you're getting out of it. Because everything else, she has ruined your fucking life.
Genuine. Ugh.
That's all I got to say.
It better be worth it. It never is.
Yeah, right? Yeah. Because that's the only thing I can see. Because this thing has ruined his career. He had a chance. Yeah, sometimes, look, things happen in sports. You get injured, you get hurt. You have a down year, things happen. You can come back from it through hard work and dedication. But like you said, Xavier, he got paid and he was expected to actually work. Look,
I already got the money and you expect me to do stuff? Yeah. Well, that's not fair. I've already got the money, though. Yeah, because, we pay you guys in advance for the year. You want me to work?
Yeah.
But I have the money already.
Oh, God.
When do I get more?
Yeah. But no, yeah, Micah, I just went over.
When you do work.
Micah, I don't know how long you've been here, but I was just going over the fact that for Colin Kaepernick, he had it good. He had a chance, and he threw it all away and like I said, to repeat what I said, I hope the pussy was good because that's the only thing your girlfriend's offering you.
Yeah, no kidding.
Because it's not giving you good socio-political commentary because you're the only person dumber than you is her.
Basically.
That's all You know, like you literally listened to somebody who's less intelligent than you are and took it to heart. So,
And here's the last thing I'm going to note, because I had mentioned this before, but I'm going to mention it again. You want to know who has suffered who, like, I saw who was pissed off about this and was talking about losing jobs the most on Twitter if he found success with this? Minority creators.
Yeah. Because
So
they're not needed any. Does he not realize that AI means that a creator is not needed? An artist isn't needed. A writer isn't needed. You know, if he was successful, which he won't be, because it's going to be garbage. You know, whatever it's produced, it's going to be garbage. It's going to be terrible. That, you know, whatever he does, you know, whatever. If he was successful, he would ruin it for minority creators. You know, like, and he doesn't see it because, like I said, he's dumb as a post. You know, like, no, I shouldn't say that. The post has an advantage. You know, because the post at least knows what it's doing. You know, the post knows to stand, be a post.
You know, the post has a backbone.
Yeah, the post has a backbone. The post you'll never see the post kneeling.
Oh goodness! All right, let's go ahead and move on.
Yeah, but I had to have a nice little rant after your rant because
we all have reason to rant in here because, like, this would affect what we do.
Exactly.
You know? And he can go fuck himself. So, all right. So, Mr. Beast.
Oh goodness.
How can we worse? How can we make it worse? I know.
take the lead, Wayne. How did he make this worse?
Well, okay. So, at first, you know, to give a recap, you know, the whole accusation is that Chris Tyson, who is, you know, the person who worked for Mr. Beast, was his friend, all this other crap, was apparently in Discords and having inappropriate conversations with minors. There could be worse things out there. I personally think he's a horrible human being for abandoning their wife and child to play, you know, fantasy time with their psychiatric diagnosis. But anyway, so Mr. P's initial response was, I thought, okay, not bad. You know, basically, like, you know, they're, you know, and by the way, different story than what Chris Tyson said. You know, Chris Tyson said, we decided mutually to part ways. No, and Mr. B said, no, they're fired. You know, like, much difference from a mutual parting of ways and a firing. I think we all agree on that. And he, you know, said that, you know, they were going to get an independent investigation going and all that good stuff. Didn't lie the problems where, you know, more people were speaking up about things that were going on with Mr. Beast and with Chris Tyson and things out of that, where it looks like, you know, Jimmy is just it sounds like Jimmy is also just a dog shit human being.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, his boss owns Funko Pop, so.
Yeah, well. So, you know, the more the more you dig deep, the more it's like, oh man, like, this is crap. And started, like, some of the videos that were coming out, like, even people who said, I work for Mr. Beast and here's what's going on. They started, like, you know, getting takedowns on those videos. You know, entire channels were lost because of this. Because, you know, how can you fight Mr. Beast on YouTube? You know, they're just going to side with Mr. no matter what. Apparently issuing cease and desist orders, like, don't, you know, you can't talk about this. Why can't they? There's no DMCA. I mean, not DMCA. There's no what you call it, not, you know, non-compete or whatever. You know, no, non-disclosures. Just, you know, especially when it's commentators who are just outside of it and just commentating on what they've seen and what they know. That's some bullshit, you know? Like, and it's less that he's sweeping for Chris Tyson, which he still don't, you know, I think it falls into the same category. The biggest thing is that he's trying to deflect, and, you know, it's literally like, you know, it's the Wizard of Oz thing. Don't look at the man behind the curtain, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like, don't look at me. You know, I didn't do anything wrong. And don't look at these people who are saying bad things about me that are totally true because, you know, they're documented cases. You know, like, you know what I mean? Like, one gentleman come out and said something to the effect of, like, he was participating in one of those challenges, and he finally said he wanted out. You know, it was just too much. Apparently, it was filmed but never got released because he said, "I want out. I'm done. You know, I can't keep doing this." Like, Like he said, it was so bad that like whatever the challenge was, like his feet hurt so bad he couldn't even walk. You know,
Jesus.
and they told him, no, you can't leave. You're contractually obligated to leave. I said, yeah, that's kidnapping. You know, you know what I mean? Like, you know, you can't legally hold somebody against their will, no matter what contract they sign. You can't just make them stay somewhere if they want to leave. You know, that, like I said, that's kidnapping. And I mean, it could also be, you know, you could make an argument for slavery too at that point. You know, like, but yeah, no, that's kind of like the long short of it. I'm sure there's some stuff I'm missing. Mike might have some things that I skipped over, but
let's see, what can I think of? Because like a good deal of it has been a lot of DMCA's, as you mentioned. It's also been revealed that his boss is the guy that owns Funko Pops. That's true. It's like no wonder Mr. Beast is the way he is.
Yeah.
The most bland thing with the most bland fucking products ever. I can't stand fucking things. I'm just trying to think, because there's been a lot. There's been so many little things. It's like Mr. Beast is a thief, and then that disappears.
Yeah.
It's been a lot of fucking sweeping under the rug. It's not unexpected considering the amount of money that he flings around in every one of his videos. And yeah, it's just it's kind of spooky with how quickly just everything just goes, just like disappears as soon as it pops up.
Yeah, it's amazing. And also there was a leaked email that came out, and I'm paraphrasing it to a degree, but you know, they talked about like all this new stuff they're going to implement in the company. Like, you know, there's going to be what got me is like reading over it. It's like, you know, some things saying, you know, there was going to be training, you know, retraining on some things, especially like sexual harassment and stuff like that. And then, you know, it said like, you know, we're, you know, going over our, you know, stuff about diversity and inclusion. I'm like, I'm just going to say, dude, that diversity and inclusion is what got you in this problem in the first place.
Yeah, we're going to train them on sexual harassment. We're going to teach them how to do it better and not get caught.
Nah.
For legal reasons, that's a joke.
Yeah. Because, you know, I got to tell you, our sexual harassment policy here at Grindstone, you know, if you're found caught sexually harassing, we're going to beat the shit out of you.
Yeah. I still can't move very well right now because of my back, but I will buy a cane to beat you with. God damn it!
Hey, there ain't nothing wrong with doing it the Andrew Jackson way, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that's the long and short of it. Like, you know, Mr. Beast, old Jimmy, he's not this bubbly personality that he puts on. He's a terrible human being, you know. Like, apparently, like I said, these are rumors. I don't know if these are true. So, preface this: grain of salt. This is rumors. Grain of salt. This is rumors. That, you know, people have been asking, where's the investigation? You know, like into Chris Tyson and stuff like that. And, you know, I even asked. I said, like, you know, where's the Greenville police? You know, where are they at in this? Apparently, the Greenville police are sweeping for him because he put so much money into Greenville.
Oh,
you know?
Christ.
So. And I doubt it's like the police itself, but, you know, probably whoever is over the police. You know what I mean? Like,
oh, the goddamn.
You know how many tickets to the policeman's ball he bought? I don't, but it's a lot.
Yeah. And that's another thing. You know, for early on, you know, he did a lot of community stuff where it's like, you know, I'm buying this entire grocery store of stuff and giving it away. You know.
Yeah.
Apparently, he doesn't do that anymore. And when he does do it, it's like, it's all, what do you call it? You know, it's all just publicity stunt. It's not like for the good of anything, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, okay, fair enough. Yeah, you dug wells in Africa and you built houses in Brazil or wherever it was. You know, I know for a fact, because I live close enough to it, you know, Greenville was only, you know, 40 minutes away from my hometown, and I've been to Greenville many, many times. There's a lot of areas in Greenville who need help too. You know, and with his money and influence, he could make Greenville a powerhouse in this state, right? Like a powerhouse city. But like I said, it's more he's more about the look than it is actually helping people. you know. In 1 second, I got a cat who wants to try to climb out the window, even though that window's closed. 1 second.
Yeah.
Kitty.
Terrible. We have lost Wayne to the cats.
Nah.
A terrible fate. 3 cats to be precise, if I remember correctly.
4.
4 cats to be precise, if I remember correctly.
4 headache. You got 4 walking headache.
Okay, I'm back.
Oh goodness. I think it goes without saying at this point that, like, I don't know. There's a lot of people saying Mr. Beast is over. I think that remains to be seen, but it's definitely trending downwards, and it should be trending downwards for everything that we're hearing.
Oh,
and yeah, this is the shit that's coming out is fucking mortifying. And at the end of the day, it's unfortunate to see, but it's one of those things where popularity and money tend to corrupt people. You know, maybe he was a really good guy at one point, but now, you know, it just kind of seems like the things that he's letting go on, just nah.
No.
Well,
yeah.
So, final topic of the day. I have another rant, and the last one had me sweating. But this is more of me talking about just kind of something that I saw on the YouTube, and I wanted to comment on it because I really feel like people have not learned the mistakes of the past, and given that 4 out of 5 of us here are veterans of the meme war, there's some things that we can kind of testify to in regards to dealing with bad actors. So, we all, you know, for those of you who do not know what Sweet Baby Inc. is, Sweet Baby Inc. is a, how did they describe themselves? They're a consulting agency. And they are a politically driven one that basically talks about, or is well, actually, let me read from their About Us. They say, founded in 2018, Sweet Baby Inc. is a narrative development and consultation studio based in Montreal and working around the globe. Our mission is to tell better, more empathetic stories while diversifying and enriching the video game industry. We aim to make games more engaging, fun, meaningful, and inclusive for everyone. Yeah, the fun part they certainly have not been able to pull off so far, but they say that they have writing services, narrative services, representation services, and development. And some of the games that they have worked on, if you look at them, a lot of them have been criticized for bad writing and pushing political messages that really didn't have a place there, such as Alan Wake 2, which is barely about Alan Wake and instead is about a black woman detective that's a Mary Sue.
And her mind.
Yeah. They apparently worked on God of War Ragnarok, which, of course, you know, you can tell that their involvement largely was around Angraboda.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, Anthony Birch came out and said that he was the one who primarily worked on Angraboda's dialogue, meaning that they were overlooking him. They made Anthony Birch worse. How? How do you do that?
It could be worse.
I guess so.
Anthony Birch.
You're not Anthony Birch.
But I don't know if it applies, because now, like, we have managed to make him worse. How did we do that? How do you pull that off? You have to be really bad to do that. But God of War Ragnarok is criticized as having weaker writing than its previous iteration. And it does. Like there's a lot of problems with God of War Ragnarok in comparison to the original. Like there's a lot of stuff that it's really weird about it too. Another one was they apparently worked on Goodbye Volcano High, which is being called one of the worst written video games ever. And then they worked on Spider-Man 2, which you'll notice that in Spider-Man 2, at the end of it, they tried to make Miles the new and only Spider-Man in a video game where they basically took out any and all police involvement. Whereas in the previous game, Spider-Man was working very closely with New York Police Department to help people out.
Mm-hmm. That's insensitive to minorities.
Supposedly. Even though one of the characters, like the one of the characters that you interact with that was part of the cops was an Asian woman. The fuck. But anyway, and probably, yeah. But the most well-known game and infamous that they worked on was Suicide Squad.
Boy.
Which also has like some of the most abysmal writing that.
What have taken?
You telling me you don't like mixed freeze?
Oh God. You know what really gets me about that is that the Arkham vs. Mr. Freeze is great.
Mm-hmm.
But then again, I think he died. Yeah, he dies in the DLC of Arkham. He and Nora both die at the end of it at some point.
Well, that's poetic at least.
Yeah, it was a great ending. You know, back when Rocksteady made good games.
Yeah.
But
now they're not even a company anymore. So
yeah, they're like, well, they're like they're at a point where Warner Brothers is in big trouble. And part of the reason that they are in big trouble is because their games aren't making money.
Nope.
Like the only game that they had that made money was or was a huge success was Hogwarts.
Yeah.
And because like I don't think that Mortal Kombat 11 or Mortal Kombat 1 has done that great. It's sold, but not as well as like previous iterations.
Oh no, yeah, because
I for a lot of people are theorizing that they're going to do another reboot at the end of Chaos Reigns.
Probably, because that's what they're good at. I'm sorry, I know this off topic, but I think I ranted. Didn't I rant to you the other day about Mortal Kombat? Like,
yeah, I think we did an episode of Reverie on it, didn't we?
Maybe I can't remember.
Or was that just us farting around?
It might have been us farting around, but still, like, I'm sorry, Micah, but that's a prime.
Well, it's a prime example of like how bad writing has kind of fucked it over because people just aren't interested in what's going on with Warner Brothers' games. And they're looking to sell a bunch of stuff. It also and the big thing is like one of the things that's being pointed to is like one of the big reasons that they're looking to get rid of a lot of these game developers is because of the failure of Suicide Squad, how much money they lost on it.
Mm-hmm.
Because at the end of the day,
isn't that game?
Go ahead, Serena.
I was like, isn't that game dead after like 2 DLCs?
I don't even know what the player count is at right now. I'll check.
I'll look.
I know it was abysmal even before the DLCs. So.
I was super uninterested when I saw that trailer. You have 4 completely different characters with different kits that somehow look super
all play the same.
The way they play.
Yeah. Their power is gun.
Yeah, right.
It's like what the fuck. So last 30 days. This is according to Steam charts. Now this is the Steam version for those listening. This doesn't count consoles. But on Steam, average players 239.
Oh God. For a live service game, that is abysmal.
Yeah, for a live service game, the peak that they've had over the last month is 572. Now let's compare that to a game that's been out for a year. Let's go with Baldur's Gate 3.
Mm-hmm.
That isn't a live service game. That is, by the way, I fucked up last time I said that it was a single player game. It does have multiplayer. It does have cooperative, but it is, it's largely considered to be single player. But yeah, you can bring your buddies in to play it. It's just they're playing your story. Anyway, and by the way, I recommend it as co-op. It's a lot of fun. Last 30 days, 116,000 peak players.
Yeah, didn't they come out
68K on average.
Yeah, they came out relatively. Right? Like,
it's just one of those things where it's like, Baldur's Gate 3 is a AA game. Like it's a AA production, and it's stomping out Suicide Squad, which is a AAA production that was being developed by a studio coming off what was probably one of the greatest trilogies in video gaming history. Because you look through like a lot of the great trilogies in video games, like it's really hard to top Arkham.
Yeah.
Half-Life would if they had a third game, but overall, like, they're losing a lot of money. And Sweet Baby has factored into this. Everywhere that this company goes, people are losing money or they're getting criticized for bad writing. This is something I want to say to any content creators that are out there. This is not personal, but I'm speaking specifically from a position of where, like, if you want to expose these people and you want to basically, get the word out there about what they're doing, the dumbest thing that you can do is make them out to be Satan. Because I'm going to say this right now. These people are not that threatening. Do they fuck things up? Absolutely. Is it frustrating to see? Absolutely. But I will say this right now. I'm not happy that Suicide Squad did what it did. I ain't sweating it that much either. Because who are they hurting except for themselves? Like, who? It's one of those things where this is where maybe just the fact that I'm getting old, but there's an understanding, there's some clarity needed here. These people are going to destroy themselves because they do not have what it takes to survive without effectively trying to blackmail or pressure people into paying them. Is that deplorable? Yes. Is it bad morally? Yes, absolutely. Should you treat them like the devil, like they are a terrible presence that's going to destroy all of video games? No, because that's not what they are. They're a consulting firm that is really bad at consulting. They're bad at editing. They're bad at writing. They're bad at imposing diversity as well because they don't know how to do it organically. They don't know how to make a story diverse without it seemingly injecting some level of politics into it. A black guy cannot just be a guy who is black who shows up and does cool things. He has to be you listen to their writing, you're surprised that the guy's not wearing a watermelon backpack, has 12 kids that he with 12 different women, and is eating fucking chicken and waffles all the time.
It's off-putting.
Please forward all complaints to Micah Curtis, P.O. Box 963, New York City, New York State 10108.
Not our actual P.O. Box, by the way. But send
stuff there.
But it's one of those things where it's like they think to introduce representation, they would have somebody, a native that would just come up with a big fucking headdress going, "How?" all the time.
Mike.
How?
It's one of those things where it's like you guys have no idea how to be respectful to the cultures that you say that you're trying to help out. No idea. These people are laughable. They're bad at what they do. And there are things about them that deserve to be called out. Like, I think Alec Haloka's sister has something to do with this company. The one that sold him down the road when Zoe Quinn basically killed the guy.
Uh-huh.
That is horrible and should be mentioned and called out.
Yes.
But at the same time, I would put Zoe Quinn at much worse than these people on the moral scale, because she's the one who actually did what ended up killing the guy.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Zoe Quinn is evil, is an evil human being. These people are not good people, but they are not like sociopaths. They're just stupid. They believe stupid things that don't work. And the thing
that
about...
they're more dangerous.
No, I won't agree. I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that at all. I don't think that they're... I don't think that that's what that makes them dangerous at all. I think that what it does is it makes them an inevitable failure.
Dumb person with a machete is still pretty dangerous.
But who are they probably going to harm the most? Themselves.
I mean, yeah, and other people around them, but still, you know, that's,
possibly. And by the way, that it will affect other people. That is true.
Yeah.
But at the same time, the worst thing that you can do is give them power, especially power over your thoughts and power over the things that you say. If you let them come across like they're an actual threat to the world instead of something that's going to just destroy itself inevitably, all you do is prolong their existence, because you have basically given them a marketing tool that they can use to grift even more. See, look, all the bad people think we're the worst, and they're bad people. That means we're good. You should give us money so you're good too. There's two people that use that exact grift, and it prolonged their careers longer than it should have. Anita Sarkeesian and Brianna Wu. Anita Sarkeesian's an idiot. She's stupid. She believes stupid things. She says stupid things. If you listen to her videos, they largely don't make sense. And you can tell she never played a single game that she ever talked about. You listen to her talk about Far Cry 3, you would think that it's a KKK simulator. You know?
Plus, after she got rid of Jonathan McIntosh, her numbers started like dwindling hardcore.
You're welcome.
So the views that made her famous weren't even hers; they were written for her.
Yeah. And again, you're welcome. Who do you think fed Milo Yiannopoulos and Ben Shapiro the information that outed him as a Jew hater? Me. So, and then she fired him not shortly afterwards. So when it comes right down to it, you know, the opinions that she, like in that case, like Jonathan McIntosh is not a good person, and exposing him was the right thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
I never thought of Anita as anything more than dumb, because she just said nonsensical things.
Anita was the prime example of, you know, people talking about, they use the word grifter a lot, but she was a grifter.
Really?
Right.
And that's what Sweet Baby is.
Yeah, they're a bunch of grifters, and it goes back to, you know, what was it like? That thing that we, you know, when digging into her, they found some video of her like being, was it a seminar, something? I forgot.
Wasn't that South by Southwest?
No. This was before that. This is like she was at some convention, and they, you know, it was like I think the word seminar caller or something like that. Like,
yeah, that was the grift she had before she went into video games.
Yeah, but in comparing
money making scheme.
Yeah, but in comparing the two, they were pretty much identical. You know, so and so it gets back to that. It's just like she would using Josh as an example. Yes, I call him Josh because it's always funny when, I don't know if you remember that tweet where somebody called him Josh. And
he got like, very angry.
Very angry. He's like, my name is Josh. And so that became the thing. Like, look, Josh, shut up. Didn't we start calling him Joshington, Josh and Tosh?
Yeah.
I think Josh and Tosh was the best.
Yeah, good old Josh and Tosh. But yeah, and so, you know, there was similar things. And Sweet Baby, it gets back to what you said. You know, stupidity is mocked. You know, you mock stupidity, you make fun of it. If it's good enough, you make memes out of it. You know, like that's how you crash and burn those people. Like, you know, you don't, you know, make them victims. You make them mockery.
Exactly.
You know? Yeah,
burn more than fear.
Yeah, you have to keep in a. Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, because it goes out to to something my grandma said years and years ago, and it can be applied in different ways. And the term is, be sure your sins will find you out. Right?
Yeah.
You can find out Sweet Baby Inc. is a bunch of idiots and dumbasses and stuff, but just look at the stuff they write. You look at the stuff they implement into games and stuff. It's all terrible. Has there been an example of anything that's good that's come out of that? No. So why are we? I mean, yes, there are people, especially people who are in the industry, who I can understand where they would be upset about this, because I've seen many accounts where it's like people have this great idea for a concept and a good game, and it's like, and it's literally the South Park thing, put a chick in it, make her gay.
Yeah.
I saw one where the guy had the game concept sounded great, and then he's like, nope, you got to change it to a black chick. Why? Well, representation and all that. I was like, no. That changed the whole continents of the game, the story and everything,
It's one of those things where,
I saw one where an artist was complaining that he turned in a concept for a character for a black woman. She was sexy, she was strong, and she was powerful. And by the time it came back, she was kind of like dumpy and awkward.
So what they did with April O'Neil.
I was going to say, that sounds like April O'Neil.
Turned into an auntie from his words.
Yeah, because here's the thing. Who would anybody...
Made him delete that.
Hold on. Too many people. Hold on, Micah, go ahead. Sorry.
I was going to say, because here's one thing that I would say. Like, we would all agree that Megan Fox was an abysmal April O'Neil, right? Well, would anybody complain if Gabrielle Union played her?
No.
I don't know. Give me a seat.
Mike's like, let me confirm.
No, I wouldn't mind.
Yeah, she'd be great.
Mm-hmm.
Because she could, obviously she's not white like April O'Neil is, but she wouldn't be a bad pick because she could she would at least be able to play the character, how she behaves and how she acts and things like that.
Right.
Turning her into just like a frumpy fucking goof, just it doesn't work. And this is the sort of stuff that they're consistently proposing. And they effectively made a mockery out of Spider-Man. Now, not to the point of Zeb Wells, because Jesus Christ, Zeb Wells. I was watching Almighty Lolly's stream last night, and one thing that somebody had said was, like, if they put Paul in the next Spider-Man game, there will be people actively looking for ways to kill that character.
Mm-hmm.
But here's the thing. In fact, using Zeb Wells is a really good example. Zeb Wells has done damage to Spider-Man, but it's on Zeb Wells.
Yeah.
Because what is Paul? Has anybody here ever looked at Paul and then looked at a picture of Zeb Wells?
Oh, you don't
look alike.
There's no way.
Paul is Zeb Wells with a dye job. Look it up right now.
You're not telling me that a writer for Marvel would self-insert themselves in a story. There's no way.
Specifically to fuck Mary Jane Watson and have children with her.
Oh, you're kidding. No way. No.
Yeah.
That is extremely bad.
Wasn't this guy's arc so bad that they just vaporized his whole participation?
Yeah. It's crazy. But yeah, it's like Jesus fucking Christ, man. So it's terrible.
Holy shit! Yeah, it is. It literally is. Zeb Wells with a dye job.
Yep. So
literally.
So yeah, but that's it. It deserves mockery, and people have been mocking it, and it's fucking hilarious. And Zeb Wells' career is going to go downward from there because he's just the subject of mockery.
Yeah.
I personally have thought of if he ever makes a convention appearance and there's a Q&A, going into the Q&A and saying, so with the character of Paul, why did you insert yourself into a comic to fuck Mary Jane Watson, you pathetic piece of shit? And just laugh at him in front of everybody. Because it's pathetic. It's fucking sad. And that's the thing with Sweet Baby. with their Spider-Man writing, they had Peter Parker defeated by a fridge. What the fuck? You have the ultra minority that is now Miles Morales' girlfriend. She beats a symbiote with a spray can. Wait, really? This is fucking stupid. It's fucking stupid. Yeah. So she was tagging a symbiote. Why are we having the black character tag a fucking symbiote to beat it? That's like her beating it with a bucket of KFC. What the fuck?
Oh no.
I have to hit the button. I have to hit the button because this is literally what I'm doing right now.
I screaming inside my head. Oh no. Oh boy.
Come up with that on your own, or did an older boy put you up to it?
Oh god. But it's like here's the funny thing about Zeb Wells. The last thing I'm going to say about him, he managed to out stupid Joe Quesada whenever it comes to Spider-Man. That's impressive.
Yeah.
But that's what this is. It's stupid. Laugh at it, point at it, mock it, make fun of them. They are not worth your anger. Yeah, it sucks that this game wasn't as good as you would like. There's other fucking games, man. There's a lot of video games out there that are great, that look like they're going to be a lot of fun. But stop trying to make these people out to be worse than they are. They're personally offending you. If they are, that's a you problem. These people don't offend me. These people are retards. They're stupid. They say stupid things, they do stupid things, and ultimately it will destroy them. Acting like they are going to be the death of an entire industry. The industry was already coming close to a crash before these guys got involved. It's just gonna accelerate it, and I'm gonna say this right now. Anybody who hires them, this is on their own head. It's their own fucking fault. Don't act like this is only one person. Gotta look at this with some sort of clarity instead of rage baiting and making these people out to what they are, because all you're going to do is extend their careers like people extended the careers of Brianna Wu and Anita Sarkeesian back during Gamergate. Learn the fucking lesson that we've already learned.
Make fun of them.
Yeah, they're stupid. Just make fun of them. Make them a mockery. Make them a meme. Because that is the way to beat them.
Point out that they self-insert their shit. You know, like, make that a very apparent. Like, you know, that's still Bob. God, Jesus.
Yeah. All right. So let's go ahead and bring this to a close. A lot of ranting. I legitimately, I won't lie, I was legit sweating during the Colin Kaepernick rant. Now, it might be partially because I had some leftover Tennessee hot chicken fingers, which were fucking delicious, by the way.
Oh, wow.
I will give you guys a recipe after the show is over. But but as it stands, ultimately, folks, I think that, like, if there's an overall lesson to this episode, there's still great things that are going on out there. Even in places you wouldn't expect them. Fucking Disney gave us Deadpool and Wolverine. You know, you wouldn't expect it, but that's what we got. There's always the possibility that things can turn around, and there's so much good shit out there that as long as you're willing to look for it, you'll find it. And here at Grindstone, we're going to keep making it. Because we have good stuff on the way. I'm really excited about finally getting to fulfill Inglewood Book 2. So we're going to be starting to send stuff like over to Xavier to go ahead and get that stuff shipped, or start prepping it. Then I'm going to, once the payout comes from Kickstarter, I'm going to go ahead and order the boxes for the box tiers and go ahead and this is just something for those of you who are listening to find out. You know, you'll see it on my YouTube channel too. I'm actually going to stream the process of getting those boxes prepped for you guys and signing the comics, so that you guys can, you know, see that it's getting done, and so on and so forth. Serena is also finishing fulfillment on Black Rhapsody Book 1. So once
Yep.
we're sending out the last books on that, we're going to do a closeout stream to get that rolling. And more Black Rhapsody is coming. I would know. I already edited the next script, and we've talked about doing the one after that. We've got, of course, Cyberpop from Almighty Lolly. Mailing list is out. How many signatures do we have on that now? It's over 350, right?
I think it was 370 the last count we saw. Yeah.
I'm gonna check real quick, but I'm obviously super stoked about that one because I edited that one too. But I really feel like Lolly has found something that's gonna be a really fun cyberpunk book that I think people are really gonna vibe with. Let's see, where are we at right now? 387.
Nice. Closing in on that 400.
So, and on top of that, we've also got the St. Peregrine crossover that comes right after we fulfill Inglewood Book 2. And there's other stuff that, we're working to get set up as well that is a little further down the road. But ultimately, as it stands, like, we're in a position as a company, like, where we're able to provide good stuff. And there's others out there that are also trying to endeavor. The one thing that I would just say to those of you who feel a bit disgruntled by all this, I can understand why you feel that way. But at the end of the day, that's not all that's going on. And don't be... I guess my encouragement would be, don't let your anger put you in a position where you get tunnel vision. Expand your horizons, look out, because there's a lot of really great stuff out there that you might not have seen yet, and also great things that will be coming as well. And we're going to do our best as a company to make sure that you guys are getting that from us, to say the least. So, any final words, guys?
Not a whole lot, honestly. I mean, goodness, it's been a lot to talk about this week. Well, 2 weeks, really, but still.
Yeah.
I have something to say.
Go for it.
Who are you people? No. No, I have something to say, and I will say this because I mentioned it. Mentioned a little bit of my football, knowledge and stuff during the rant. But I will say this: just remember, ladies and gentlemen, you can watch National Football League this year, and you will not see Colin Kaepernick.
Yeah.
Ain't that the truth?
That's all.
Damn.
Xavier, anything to say before we part ways with our audience for this week?
Yeah. Be sure to check out the new episode of Reverie we just recorded today when it goes up.
Yes.
We tackle the issues plaguing the International Space Station. At least we tried to.
You got to get that air leak fixed, man. That could be disastrous.
Yeah, don't worry. You will learn about the Ballad of Billy O.
Well, folks, I want to thank all of you for watching us. Sorry that we didn't have an episode last week, but hopefully this week makes up for it. We'll be back next week, hopefully with more fun stuff. But until that time, my name is Micah Curtis, President, CEO, owner of or co-owner of Grindstone Arts. Have yourselves a great rest of your week.
Frick.